All right, it's been about a month since we installed Starlink in our home, and a few people have asked me about the performance of it. They wanted me to post some bandwidth speed tests, and so I've captured a few of those over time because one thing I've noticed is with Starlink, that performance is going to vary, the amount of bandwidth you see or have available to you, as well as the latency. And I will say that the variance in latency, or the jitter, has made it so that I cannot use one application over Starlink. So for that reason, I still have a DSL connection. And I'll talk about that application sort of at the end of this video. So what I've done is I've captured a couple of bandwidth tests over time. We'll take a look at those, and I'll talk about the applications I've used, what's worked well in the one application so far that I've recognized that doesn't work well. I will say that I've purchased the Starlink Ethernet adapter. My house has Cat 5e in it, so most of my devices are wired, but we've bypassed the Starlink router, the Gen 2 router altogether because it's really limited in functionality. So we're using our own ASUS router with a dual WAN setup. So I can send one device or a subset of devices out over the secondary WAN, or I can have it fail over in case of an outage, which we've not experienced with Starlink, okay? So let's take a look at some of those speed tests, but certainly leave questions and comments below if you'd like to see the Ethernet adapter or how to bypass the Starlink router on the Gen 2 system. Let me know and I'll post a video on that as well. All right, let's take a look. So most speed tests do result in about 150 to 220 on the download megabits per second. And on the upload, we're talking usually 10 to 25 megabits, sometimes less. The ping time always looks good, but again, we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a bit. The DSL connection that I'm coming to Starlink from typically would give me about 5 to 5.5 megabits on the download and less than 1 megabit on the upload. And with multiple devices in our household, I mean, it would just chew up the bandwidth. So let's take a look at a speed test on the Starlink app itself. Alright, so here I'm mirroring my Android tablet and I am loading up the Starlink app. I do have it on my phone as well. Under the stats icon, you can see that there's an uptime meter, if you will, and it'll kind of tell you if there were any outages that lasted more than or longer than 2 seconds. It has a continuous ping, so you have a latency meter there, and then you have a speed test option. Now typically, if you have the Starlink router in place, it would run 3 speed tests. It would run a speed test from the device to the internet, and then it would run a speed test from the Starlink router to the internet, and then it would run a speed test from my device to the Starlink router. And you can see I'm not getting anywhere near the download bandwidth that I was on my wired desktop, and that in part is why I have my devices wired in the household. Because you do get less bandwidth over Wi-Fi, and you can see the other options aren't available because I don't have the router in place. And you can check the visibility as well. If we did see any outages on the previous screen, we could come in here and see if there were any obstructions that were possibly interfering with its connectivity. Incidentally, the background I've been using is a real-time, or basically a real-time map or globe showing the Starlink satellites in where they are in their orbit. And it's pretty impressive, really, to think that this system works the way it does, and that there are this many Starlink satellites in its mega constellation. And my understanding is the plan is to add more. So these are, and I'll include a link to this, or the URL down in the description area if you want to check this out yourself. It's kind of interesting. You know, if you scroll to your geographic area, you can kind of see if there are any Starlink satellites overhead right now. All right.
This is no time to rest.
Alright, so what works? I mean, all of the streaming services work just fine. I've worked from home, I've been in Teams meetings with multiple people, I had no issues there. Obviously, I've played Chivalry 2 a little bit, and you know, you do experience the occasional glitch, but far less than what I would experience on DSL, especially if we had multiple people on in the household. So, for example, if I were playing a game like this, over DSL and somebody decided to watch Netflix, I'm pretty much done. Or they're going to sit there and watch buffering every several minutes. So, and here you can see we're playing a little CS:GO gun game, and I've played quite a bit of Dying Light 2 with my buddy Pete, my son. And beyond the glitches in the game, everything worked fine over Starlink. All right, let's talk about what doesn't work. Alright, so this is Jamulus, and Jamulus is an interactive, collaborative music program for vocalists and musicians. And if you're a musician or a vocalist, you should check it out. It allows you to play with anyone all over the world for free, and it works. It works, but not well over Starlink. So I will continue to use my DSL for this application. And unfortunately, there's nobody hanging out on the East Coast playing in a genre that I would normally be in. So I'm giving you an example of what it does. It allows you to play music, and the problem is, and I'll bring up another site here, the jitter or the latency ping is all over the place. So it'll start out at, say, for me normally on the servers I play at, 45 or 50, it'll jump to 75, it'll go down to 60, it'll go to 90, it'll go to 50. And the program is trying to compensate for the latency the whole time. So for this reason, I'll just continue to use my DSL. So hopefully this video has been helpful. Please leave questions and comments down below. And if you want to see another video on Jamulus or the Ethernet adapter for Starlink, leave that down below as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye.